Hey guys, today I'm super excited to give you my spoiler-free thoughts on The Nun 2. Now, I've got to start this off by saying I had not seen the first Nun until I knew I was going to see The Nun 2. Okay, I knew I got invited to attend a screening and I was like, all right, haven't seen the first one, let's dive into it. And wow, I didn't even look at the Rotten Tomatoes score until after I watched it, and I completely understand why both critic and audience are not only rotten, but so low. I was very bored. If you guys have been around for a while, you know I love horror movies. I love them, and I love to be scared, and I felt like it was so heavy and so convoluted and so bogged down with this lore that they were trying to really push and drill into our heads that by the time anything remotely scary happened, I didn't care. I was over it. Okay? I was like, ugh, I don't care about you anymore. So I went into The Nun 2 with very, very low expectations. I've got to lay that out there because it very well could have been what helped me enjoy this movie so much. Listen, first of all, just looking at this film, it is clear they had more money. They had an insane amount more of like this, the production value, the production design, it's insane how much just better it looks in general. And then you talk about the fact that this thing kicks right off with a scene that will have your jaw on the floor. I was like, oh, we're doing this. We're in. Like, I was, on edge. It's intense. The score, the setup, the slowness. And then, bam, when they hit you, you're like, okay, I am into this. And then the longer it continues on, it just gets better and better. It's really, really good. You get to have a lot of fun with the villain this time around. Like a lot of the jump scares, a lot of the like, oh, it's gonna happen, oh, it's about to, it happened, like that sort of thing. The nun, she's freaking terrifying, but the use of surroundings, I'll put it this way, the use of surroundings in this film is absolutely brilliant. There's many things that they're like natural things, like say a burn on a wall or like a magazine rack, but they make them look like her, and it's like subtle at first and then they make it like super obvious, but it's scary and it's intense, like fun scary, not like terrifying scary, right? But like fun scary. Like I said, you get to have fun with this character, which is something that I really wanted in the first one. This is what I wanted from the first film, okay? Is it perfect? No. There's one major continuity issue that's really kind of driving me insane. Because I had watched the first one so recently, there's something that happens at the very, very end, which kind of ties it to The Conjuring. Okay, I'll just put it this way for those of you who haven't seen it. And so they kind of, I don't know if they retcon that or that thing's supposed to happen in the future after this one, because a certain person dies and then they're in this movie and you're like, okay, this clearly had to have happened after the fact, but because of something that happens, it's a little wonky. I don't want to, this is spoiler free and I don't want to dive into it too much, but there's this little continuity error, big continuity error that kind of drove me crazy. But I feel like maybe this just means we're getting a The Nun 3, which I'm cool with as long as it's more like The Nun 2 than The Nun, than the original first film. So that's my only thought. But that's like the biggest glaring issue I had with it. Other than that, like, yeah, I mean, there's some silly stuff. Like in the first one, they're like, we have to use the blood of Christ. That's our relic that we have to use. And you're like, okay, that's a little silly. You thought that was silly. The relic in this one is very, very silly. But it works. It's more like a I don't know. I don't want to give spoilers, but it's ridiculous and stupid, but entertaining. Let's put it that way, okay? So it makes sense, and I kind of was digging it. There's some funny stuff that happens surrounding it. Anyways, now I'm going off topic, but I don't want to talk about it because it's spoilery, but you'll see when you see the movie. So here's my thing. If you haven't seen the first Nun, you really don't have to. Don't do that to yourself, okay? Just kind of ignore it. Pretend it didn't happen, because they do catch you up enough in this one. They do of course, they're going to give you that exposition, right? They're going to let you know what happened in the first one. The way they do it is absolutely brilliant. It's all you need. It's like maybe a 5-minute scene, if that. And you're not going to be bothered by that continuity issue that comes at the end of the first one. So I say, if you haven't seen it, push it aside. Don't worry. This is what you want to see. This is far superior. It's infinitely better. There's no other way to describe it. It's just so much better than the first one. The first one was terrible. boring. Like, who falls asleep during a horror movie? I was like having to hit myself to wake myself up. It was that bad. And this one is just so much better. It was exactly what I wanted. I know I already said that, but this literally was exactly what I wanted from the first Nun movie. There are a lot of jump scares, a lot of fun stuff. And the story itself, pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie, for a horror movie that really is there to scare you and make you jump out of your seat and then like laugh, laugh nervously after. This movie gives you like it gives you that story, and so I'm interested and intrigued to see where they can go from here, because I do hope there's going to be a third one, and then of course there is a mid-credit scene that's going to tie to another part of this franchise, this world, so to speak. So be sure to stick around for the mid-credit scene. But it's fun, and it's just so much better, and it looks so much better, and it's just so much better than the first one. So don't not go see this one thinking the first one was terrible. I'm not going to see this one. Don't do that to yourself. You'll be missing out on a really, really great horror film. It's just a lot of fun. So you guys let me know if you're excited for The Nun 2. Let me know down below in the comments. If by the time you got to this review, you've already seen The Nun 2, let me know what you thought. I'm giving this thing a 3.5 out of 5 because I had an absolute blast with it. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you can check me out at mamasgeeky.com, MamasGeeky. And yeah, if it wasn't for that continuity thing that I really cannot get out of my head, I honestly would probably give this thing even a 4 out of 5. But it's bothering me so much. I need to know. I need answers, which I'm sure I will get eventually, but I feel like they just retconned it and we're like, that was dumb. Let's make a better than Nun 2 and we'll give you this. And then I'm happy with it. It's great to see the returning people. The new people are great. Listen, I had fun. I think you'll have fun too.